We are now just 1 week away from the September 1st price increase of Mounjaro here in the UK. There has been a bit of a buying frenzy with people trying to stock up on their pens. So a lot of retailers are currently out of stock. Prices are starting to trickle in slowly. Big news and a round of applause for Serena Williams, who has announced that she is using a GLP1 medication to help her lose weight. So, one of the top athletes in the world using a GLP1 medication and talking about it loud and proud in Vogue. And I am in the one, oh, no, hold on. That's for a bit later. Welcome to week 47 of my Mounjaro weight loss journey. I have been on Mounjaro since the 1st of October 2024, and I've lost approximately 80 pounds, or I'm coming up to the 80-pound weight loss mark. So what I tend to do on these updates is go through things like mood, hunger, cravings, calories, sleep, side effects, exercise, goals, non-scale victories, and anything else I think to throw in here. If you don't know me, my name is Ginger, and this is my channel Ginger Goes GLP1, where we discuss all things GLP1, and in my specific case, that is Mounjaro. So I've been on a Mounjaro 10 milligram pen for, I think I'm on week 9 or 10 now of 10 milligrams. What I'm doing is I started off on the 10 milligrams. I started only taking 8.75 milligrams out of the pen. I am a hyper responder, so when I go up a dose, I get mega suppression and I can get quite bad side effects. But what I've been doing recently, because I've had a bit of a blip, sort of mental health wise, and just wasn't sure if it was related to Mounjaro or everything that's been going on in my life. So I was split dosing. I've tried that for a couple of weeks now. I think this is the end of week 2 doing that, where I take a 5 milligram on Thursday and a 5 milligram on Sunday. So I split the dose. I am feeling much better, so I don't know if that's down to the medication or just that my mood is improving. But what I'll do is I'll go through in order everything that's been happening this week. Okay, so mood. Well, I have to say my mood is much improved. I'm feeling much more myself. I'm feeling a lot calmer. I'm feeling a lot brighter. I'm feeling quite optimistic about the future. Yeah, and everything just feels a little bit rosier than it did in the last couple of weeks, months, whatever. So I think I'm finally coming out of whatever it was. Like I said, I don't know if it was partly to do with the medication or just stress or just permanently being in a calorie deficit since October. Just left me feeling a bit depleted, really. And I definitely wasn't myself. And yeah, a couple of struggles along the way. But I have been as proactive as I possibly can. All things mental health related, meditation, affirmations, getting enough sleep, eating a healthy diet, getting out in sunshine, talking to friends and family, looking for the good in things. Anything that you can think that, can improve, I've been trying. So overall, it's been a net win, I would say, because I really am back on track again. Hunger. So like I said, I'm doing the split dosing at the moment. So 5 milligrams every sort of 4 to 5 days rather than 10 milligrams or 8.75 as I was taking once a week. What I can say about my hunger is I've definitely noticed I am hungrier every day. So when I would be taking a full dose of, say, the 8.75, I would go 4 days of quite strong suppression. So I really didn't have much hunger. So I wasn't forcing myself to eat, but I was sort of having to put the thought into what I was going to eat and when I was going to eat it, and then making a conscious decision to eat something. So the hunger really didn't come into play until sort of like the last 3 days after my shot. These last couple of weeks, I've noticed that I've been hungry every day. So I wake up hungry, which is really unusual for me. Like even prior to Mounjaro, I wouldn't wake up hungry in the morning. But yeah, this morning I woke up and literally my stomach was growling, like properly growling. And I only took my shot on Thursday, and today's Saturday. So I didn't eat much yesterday, so that probably explains some of it. But yeah, so I'm hungrier every day, but not to the point that I'm overeating. So I don't think it's a bad thing. Cravings. This week, I have been craving salad. All things salad, just a big leafy green salad topped with some kind of a protein, whether it's chicken, tuna, beef, or whatever. I've just craving salad. So, yeah, and obviously it's the tail end of summer, so all the produce is really quite lush at the moment. There's lots to choose from in the shops. Been eating some fruit as well. But yeah, salads. I've just had a real craving for salads. Side effects: ear popping, which I've had now for months and months and months. I only had it 3 days this week, and that sounds maybe quite a lot to some people, but I was having it all day, most days, every day. So 3 days where it's only been for a couple of hours at a time. That's really good. I'm hoping maybe we're also turning a corner with the ear popping. I've woken up 2 times this week with a headache, and quite a banging headache. It is definitely not hydration. It is definitely not electrolytes. I'm thinking it might be the ashwagandha. I'm not sure. I've been using ashwagandha to help me sleep. So I'm going to move on quickly to sleep. The ashwagandha has been helping immensely with sleep. 2 nights last week I slept through, which is only 6.5 hours for me. So say 11 until 5:30 or something like that. Usually because I need to use the loo. But anyway, it's different in that I am sleeping deep between 11 and 5:30, let's say. And then if I'm not working in the office, I'm able to go back to sleep for an hour or two and then get up and get on with my day. So sleep has improved, and I would definitely say that the ashwagandha is helping with that. But I am questioning, is it giving me a headache in the morning? I've yet to look into whether that's a side effect of ashwagandha, not the Mounjaro. It can be a side effect of Mounjaro, but I only ever had a headache on Mounjaro, I think maybe the first week, maybe the second week as well, but not to the extent where I needed to take anything. Whereas the last two times I've had it this week, I've had to get up and take paracetamol, which is acetaminophen in the US, because it was a severe headache. So there you go. Calories. So I've still not really tracked. I've kind of loosely tracked this week, and I've been eating very healthily this week. So I haven't really felt the need to track too much, but I'm probably sliding back down towards the 12 to 1400 calories. Because obviously, like I said, my 1 year goal is coming. Oh, sorry, my 1 year on Mounjaro is coming up on the 1st of October. So I do want to get down to a decent weight by then, so that I can say, this is how much weight I lost in a year. I'm coming up to 80 pounds. So I'm hoping that maybe by then I might have come up to 90 pounds. We'll have to see. That's still a little bit of a stretch for me weight-wise, just as my journey's been on for the last couple of weeks. I would say that, yeah, coming up to 90 pounds would be quite a stretch. But let's just see where I am by the 1st of October. I've lost nearly 80 pounds. If I haven't reached the 90-pound goal or the 100-pound goal, that was the original goal, 100 pounds, I'm not going to lose sleep about it. I mean, I'm 80 pounds lighter. Crikey. Who would have thought that at the beginning, So exercise, yeah, I'm not going to lie. I haven't actively exercised this week. I say that actively exercised. I have been out for some walks, and I don't go slow. I do stride it out a little bit, but is more walking for mental health rather than walking for fitness. And I know they go hand in hand, so I'm not gonna make a big deal about it. But yeah, it was just more a refreshing walk rather than a walk for exercise. But I am getting out and about, but I haven't done any sort of like major weights or working out on the treadmill or even trampolining. I haven't really done this week. I don't know why. I just haven't. But anyway, I'm letting myself off the hook, like I said. Goals, well, I've had similar goals to the last couple of weeks because my weight loss has very much slowed down, and then it like stalled, went up a little bit, lost a tiny bit, went up a little bit. So I've kind of been a bit all over the place recently. But like I said, I had a bit of a sort of up and down mental health blip, which I am getting over. So I took my foot off the pedal a little bit. And I think I'm back on it now. So my goals still remain to get into the 160s, so 160 pounds, that range, to get into the 11s, the 11 stone range in the UK, which would be 167 pounds. So that's the very top end of the 11s, but it's still in the 11s. Or to lose or to get down to 163.8 pounds, which would be 6 stone total weight loss in the UK. And then the other one is to get to 80 pounds total weight loss and to get my BMI 25 or under. So those are kind of like where my goals are at the moment. Non-scale victories. This week I had a very small non-scale victory, but it was still a non-scale victory. I went to the beach. I went to Holywell beach. It's called that because inside one of the caves there is a holy well, which we didn't get to see because we just missed the tide. The tide had come in just a bit too far for us to go round the bay to get into that particular cave. I will insert some footage here or here. Part of that was to get out and about with a friend and just be able to have like some nice chats and a catch up. The other one was to get out into green and blue spaces because they're very good for mental health, and just really to see a little bit more of Cornwall. I've been living down here for too long to not have visited quite as many beaches as I have not, if that makes sense. But anyway, Holywell Beach, there's loads of very, 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 very tall sand dunes. And my very active friend said, oh, let's go and take photographs. There's some great shots at the top of this dune. So we were up and down the sand dunes, the undulating sand dunes, of which like some of them are quite steep. And I was just able to like amble up there after her. I wasn't embarrassed. I wasn't nervous that I wasn't going to make it. I wasn't thinking, oh gosh, I'm going to be out of breath. I just went up. I just followed her up, and I was a little bit of a mountain goat, just climbing straight up after her. So yeah, that was a mini non-scale victory. However, so stupid. I did forget I am a natural redhead. I am ginger. I am a pure ginger, although you can't tell these days because I'm pure grey. But yeah, I absolutely got fried on the beach. Got fried. I thought I had sunscreen in my bag. I didn't. And so I was trying my best sort of to cover up. I had on a V-neck top and I got cremated. I don't know what the UV index was yesterday, but it was very breezy by the beach. So I wasn't very hot, which might have helped me. But I've got very bad sunburn, and I will put in a couple of pictures just to show you. So yeah, especially if you're a natural redhead. I do tan quite easily for a redhead. I don't burn very easily compared to some redheads. But I properly got fried. Deep fried ginger. It's not a good thing. So if anyone's tried to cook ginger before, they know it goes, it burns. And that's what happened to me yesterday. Okay, prices are Before I get on with my weight loss update, prices are starting to trickle in for the post September 1st. I'm just turning the page here because I made it just a couple of notes here. I've only got a couple that I'm going to give you. I will insert MedExpress's projected price increase. That is projected. They've put that themselves, that they think the prices are going to be somewhere around this point. So yeah, that will be firmed up after September. So the 15 milligram pen, which is the one that is going to be the most increase of any of the pens, MedExpress are quoting approximately £309, and that's up from 199, I think it is. So that's £110 increase. So it's not the 170% increase that was projected. Like I said, I believe that 170% projection was based on the cost to the providers, and then they would have to decide how much of that they passed on to us, the consumer. But I also saw that Medicine Marketplace, I've not used them. I cannot speak about them. I do not know anyone that's used them. So if you have, please do leave your comments down below if you're satisfied with Medicine Marketplace. But Medicine Marketplace have announced that their 15 milligram pen is going to be £271. And that does look to be confirmed as £271. So that's a £30 difference nearly between MedExpress. So I wonder if MedExpress are posting their projected costs because they want to see what everybody else is putting up, because obviously they'll want to remain competitive. They might still offer promotional rates for your first pen, or, you know, discount rates or something like that. I think there will be something. I think we'll have maybe September and October will be a bit uncertain. Nobody knows what's happening. But I think maybe come November, December, I don't know. This is just my thoughts on it. The market might just pick up a bit more competitively. There might be a few promotional discounts. You might get 10% off if you use someone's code. You might get £40 off your first order. You might get promotion for switching. I don't know. But I think the marketplace will still be relatively competitive. I did see an unconfirmed price that Boots were going to be charging £349 for the 15 milligram pen. That was third party reporting, so I can't say whether that's true or not. And then when I went on today, I couldn't find the link to the page that I was on because I foolishly didn't screenshot it when I was on it. Anyway, what I'd like you to do is, if you are aware of price increases, so whoever you're with have emailed you or announced or published prices on their website, if you can leave down in the comments what you think those prices are. Doesn't have to be confirmed. Like I said, MedExpress haven't confirmed 100%. But yeah, just leave them down in the comments so that we've all got a sense of what's sort of coming. It's not as bad as we thought it could be, but obviously it's still a huge price increase. And, you know, to find £110 extra per month, some people aren't going to be able to do that. I'm just going to wait and see what happens still. I did try and order another pen. I did try and get one more from MedExpress. My order is just holding in a queue. And I have seen other people posting that MedExpress are out of certain pens, the larger pens. So maybe I've missed out. I don't know. That's a chance that I've had to take, and I'll live with the consequences of that, whatever comes about. So we'll see what they come back with when they actually process my order. Normally I would have ordered and it would have been received already. So it just shows how much of a backlog there is. And like I said, you know, there has been a frenzy of buying over the last couple of days, which is to be expected. And I'm sure it will carry on next week, as that last week before the price increase people are panicking and maybe trying to get any pen that they can. Okay, on to my update for the week. So last week, end of last week, when I weighed in at 171.8 or 12 stone 3.8 or 78 kilos. I had to check that was exact, 78 kilos. So last week, at the end of last week, I had gained 0.2 pounds, which I had expected and projected for myself because I'd really just been focused on eating, nourishing myself, and not feeling quite as low and fatigued and all of those things as I had been before. So I didn't track last week at all. So not last week, the week before. This week I have weighed in at 169.8. I've made it into the 160s and I am delighted. When I stepped on that scale this morning, it said 170.0 and I was like, oh. And then it clicked down to 169.8 and I was just over the moon. I saw that 170 and I went, oh, that's still really good. But then when it clicked down, I was just like, I'm in the 160s. So I'm delighted. I'm really pleased about that. So 169.8, which is 12 stone 1.8 or 77.1 kilos. And that's a total weight loss from last week of 2 pounds. So very good weight loss this week for me, especially because obviously, like, you know, I'm coming not to the end. I've still got 20 pounds to go, but, you know, it's slowing down a little bit. Like I said, it's all over. But I do tend to have small loss. Oh, I do tend to have a small loss, and then a bit of a whoosh. My BMI this week is at 26.6, so I'm getting closer to that 25 mark that I'm aiming for at the moment. And my total weight loss since the 1st of October 2024, my starting weight back then was 247.8 pounds. And like I said, my current weight is 169.8, so I've lost a total of 78 pounds. So I'm 2 pounds away from the 80 pound total weight loss, which means I'm 12 pounds away from a 90 pound weight loss. I'm 12 pounds away and I am 5 weeks until my 1 year mark. I don't think I'm going to make 90 pounds because that would be 2 and a bit pounds per week, which is a lot for me. 2 pounds per week is a good loss for me. And I don't think I can do 2 pounds per week between now and the 1st of October, because that would mean I'd have to be really cutting my calories. And I'm not prepared to do that, especially so close after a sort of, you know, bit of a blip. So yeah, I'm going to just see where I am. I'm going to try and get as close to that 90 pounds as I can, but still be healthy and sensible and keep energized and not so fatigued. But yeah, I think this has been a really good week for me. I'm just feeling so much better, so much brighter, so much more positive. And I feel like I've come back into this with a lot more energy and I'm more invigorated. But like I said, I've been working really, really hard at my mental health in the last couple of weeks, 2 weeks now, more so this week. Like I said, doing everything I possibly can to maximise the benefits. So that's the roundup of this week. But yeah, back to Serena Williams. I am absolutely in awe of her. Round of applause, Serena Williams, for coming out and, you know, saying that she is one of the top athletes in the world. And for her to sort of put her, I was going to say her weight behind, to put her voice behind a GLP1 medication to help normalize it, you know, for people that are still of the camp of calories in, calories out, which, I mean, there is an element of truth in calories in, calories out, but not as much as they want to give us cause to believe. But yeah, for her to say that she needed the help, she needed the assistance, bearing in mind, like I said, she's one of the elite athletes who works out still all the time. She's not like a top tennis player anymore, but she's still working out all the time. And for her to say that she needed the help, I think that's going to help take some of the negativity, or I hope it'll help take some of the negativity off. But yeah, but bravo, Serena Williams. That's great. And I thank you for helping trying to normalize this for the rest of us. So that's the end of my week 47 update. It's been mixed news, good news, happy news. Personally, I'm delighted with my news. But yeah, I will see you all again midweek for a midweek musing. If you do like what I have to say, please do consider giving me a thumbs up, a subscribe, and if you would like to leave a comment, please do so down below. I am behind on my comments from Wednesday, but I will get to them in due course. So thanks everybody for watching, and I will see you midweek for my midweek musing, and yeah, have a great weekend.